Imagine someone hands you $100 every single day. You never miss a payment. You collect it for 30 years. You would receive more than $1 million. Now here's the uncomfortable part. Millions of Americans don't lose that money because they never earned it. They lose it because they spent small amounts so consistently that they never noticed where it went. The frightening part isn't poverty, it's invisible leakage. And by the end of this documentary, you'll understand why the easiest way to become rich looks so ordinary that most people ignore it. Most people think wealth is created by effort. But effort creates income. Income and wealth are not the same thing. A surgeon earning $500,000 can still live paycheck to paycheck. A school teacher investing consistently for decades may quietly become financially independent. That sounds unfair, because our brains reward visible success. Big houses, luxury cars, designer watches. But wealth is usually invisible. Ownership rarely announces itself. Consumption always does. So ask yourself one question. When you see someone looking rich, are you seeing assets or expenses? And that's where the story changes. A young software engineer in Seattle gets promoted. Her salary jumps by $30,000. She promises herself she'll finally start investing. Instead, she upgrades apartments, then furniture, then vacations, then subscriptions. Nothing feels irresponsible. Each decision seems reasonable. Together, they become permanent. Behavioral economists call this lifestyle inflation. Humans adapt quickly to comfort. Yesterday's luxury becomes today's necessity. The raise disappeared, not because she wasted it, because she normalized it. The trap isn't spending. It's believing every increase in income deserves an equal increase in lifestyle. But that's only the surface. The real math begins here. Think about advertising. Companies spend billions studying behavior. They know urgency sells, limited editions sell, social proof sells, convenience sells. Your brain evolved to survive uncertainty. Modern marketing evolved to monetize it. Every notification asks for attention. Every sale asks for action. Every upgrade asks one silent question. What if you're falling behind? Fear of missing out creates purchases that logic rarely would. The remarkable part, nobody forced the transaction. The customer feels independent. The psychology was carefully designed long before the purchase happened. And that's where the easiest strategy starts looking almost lazy. Meet David. He's a truck driver in Ohio. He earns a respectable income. His co-workers buy newer trucks, bigger televisions, and expensive weekend toys. David does something less exciting. The day he gets paid, money automatically leaves his checking account and enters investments. He never negotiates with himself. He never waits until month end, because month end never has money left. People call him cheap. 10 years later, they still have stories. David has assets. His system made decisions before emotions could. The wealth wasn't built by brilliance. It was built by removing daily choices. And that feels almost lazy. The word is deserve. I deserve this vacation. I deserve this upgrade. I deserve this reward. Maybe you do. But the market doesn't care what you deserve. It only records what you spend. Every purchase creates two prices. The first is today's payment. The second is tomorrow's lost opportunity. That second price never appears on the receipt, which is why almost nobody calculates it. A $200 impulse purchase isn't just $200. It's the future growth that money could have produced if it had been allowed to work instead of disappear. And that's a cost our brains struggle to visualize. Here's an uncomfortable observation. Status requires an audience. Wealth does not. Someone financing a luxury car receives admiration today. Someone quietly buying productive assets receives almost none. The applause goes to consumption. The freedom often goes to ownership. That's why financial success frequently looks ordinary, while financial pressure often looks impressive. The system never asked you to become poor. It only encouraged you to display prosperity before you actually built it, and millions happily cooperate. But another psychological trap is even stronger. It's called comparison. Comparison used to happen with neighbors. Now it happens with millions of strangers. You wake up, open your phone. Within seconds, you're looking at someone else's vacation, someone else's house, someone else's business, someone else's success. Your salary hasn't changed. Your life hasn't changed. But your satisfaction has. Psychologists call this social comparison. Your brain doesn't measure absolute progress. It measures relative position. That's why a person earning $150,000 can feel poorer than someone earning $70,000. Reality didn't change. The reference point did. And marketers understand this perfectly. They don't need you to be unhappy. They only need you to feel slightly behind. Because slightly behind is profitable. But the real trap isn't comparison, it's speed. Ask people how they want to become rich. Most answers sound exciting. A viral business, a winning stock, crypto, real estate flipping, the jackpot. Almost nobody says, I want 30 years of disciplined investing, because our brains discount the future. Behavioral economists call this present bias. Immediate rewards feel larger than future rewards. That's why buying feels easier than saving, and why speculation feels more attractive than patience. Meet Sarah, a nurse from Arizona. Every payday she invested automatically into broad market funds. Her co-workers chased trends. They checked prices every hour. Sarah checked her account twice a year. They called her boring. 15 years later, she wasn't the smartest investor. She was simply the one who stayed. The easier strategy often looks lazy because it lacks drama. Think about every advertisement you've seen this week. Almost all of them asked you to consume. Very few encouraged ownership. Nobody becomes rich because they bought another pair of shoes. Many people become rich because they bought productive assets. Assets don't care if you're sleeping, or watching television, or on vacation. They continue working. Meanwhile, labour has limits. You can only work so many hours. Ownership has no such restriction. That's why wealthy people eventually stop exchanging time for money alone. They own things that produce money while time passes. This sounds obvious. Yet most financial decisions move in the opposite direction. Because consumption delivers emotion immediately, ownership delivers results slowly, and the human brain prefers now over later. But the trap closes one final time. Imagine two friends. Both earn similar incomes. One spends every raise. The other saves half of every raise and never changes lifestyle dramatically. 5 years later, they look similar. 10 years later, the gap becomes noticeable. 20 years later, they're living in different financial realities. People call it luck. But luck rarely deposits money automatically every month. Systems do. The richest habits are often invisible. No celebration, no applause, no social media post, just quiet repetition. That's difficult because humans crave evidence. We want proof our sacrifice matters. Compound growth rarely provides emotional feedback in the beginning. It whispers for years, then speaks all at once. And that's why so many people quit before the math starts working. Maybe the easiest way to get rich isn't easier because it requires less effort. Maybe it's easier because it requires fewer decisions, automatic investing, controlled lifestyle inflation, ignoring unnecessary comparison, buying ownership instead of appearances. None of these feel exciting. That's exactly why they work. The system never needed to trap you with force. It only needed to convince you that spending more meant living better. And if you've reached this point, notice what changed. Not your salary, not your bank account, only the way you're looking at them. If this documentary challenged the way you think about money, then you've already taken the first step most people never do. You stopped confusing the appearance of wealth with wealth itself.